Give the call. Order. Members on my left and my right. There is far too much noise in the chamber. The member for Fairfax has the call.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question goes to the Minister for Climate Change and Energy. In media interviews over the weekend, the minister failed to answer questions on whether there is a cap on taxpayer money to be spent mopping up the minister's renewables-only energy policy via his newly announced Ponzi scheme. When will the minister come clean and disclose the true cost of this scheme, or has the minister again signed a blank cheque on behalf of taxpayers?
The member will just pause for a moment. The Minister for the Environment was interjecting right throughout that question. I couldn't hear it. Same rules for both sides. The member's going to be heard in silence, and he'll be heard again. And if anyone interjects, they will not be here to hear the answer. I'll give the call to the member for Fairfax.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question goes to the Minister for Climate Change and Energy. In media interviews over the weekend, the minister failed to answer questions on whether there is a cap on taxpayer money to be spent mopping up the minister's renewables-only energy policy via his newly announced Ponzi scheme. When will the minister come clean and disclose the true cost of this scheme, or has the minister again signed a blank cheque on behalf of taxpayers?
Call to the Minister for Climate Change and Energy.
Well, thanks very much, Mr Speaker. I thank the honourable member for his question. It's the last sitting week of the year, and the honourable member just rustled up his fourth question to me all year, Mr Speaker. So congratulations. It's like all year to get 4 questions, which is a great achievement. The Treasurer's worried about productivity. You might want to have a look at the member for Fairfax. Now, the member for Fairfax asked me about the capacity investment scheme, which is a very important investment and a very important scheme to ensure that we are getting reliable energy into the system. And it works as an auction. Now, Mr Speaker, it is quite common practice in governments of all levels when you are conducting an auction to say that it is commercial in confidence, and that makes sense. That's why the New South Wales Liberal government, when they introduced their equivalent scheme, kept the cost commercial in confidence. That's the way it works in Western Australia. It's a concept we hear from the member for Hume. It's a concept he might be familiar with, because when he announced the UNGI scheme, Underwriting New Generation, which could have been better called, unfortunately, No Generation Involved, because actually there was not a one what. But he said when he was asked, well, look, these discussions are commercial in confidence, and I'm not going to go into the details of them here and now.
Order.
My old friend, the former member for Flinders, Greg Hunt, when he was bringing down the emissions reduction fund, remember that, direct action, one of the 26 failed energy policies, he was asked the cost, and he said, well, the Clean Energy Regulator could run tender rounds to select eligible offers on a lowest cost priority basis. The benchmark would be commercial in confidence to encourage businesses to submit their lowest prices. There's an even bigger example, Mr Speaker, than member for Cook. The member for Cook, I'm not sure in which capacity the member for Cook was speaking on this.
The minister will pause. The member for Fairfax on the point of order.
Mr Speaker, the minister is being evasive.
The point
of order is one of relevance.
That's fine.
Because the question went to when the minister will advise on the true cost of his scheme, a question he is yet to come to in his answer.
Resume your seat. The minister was not asked about alternative proposals in the question. I'm going to refer him back to the question. He's had 2 minutes so far. I'll listen to him carefully. If he strays any further, he'll be sat down.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Well, I'm referring, of course, to why such schemes are commercial in confidence in keeping with traditional budget treatment. And this is being treated in the same regards as every other similar matter in the budget. The member for Cook was asked about his very successful deal with the French on the submarines, Mr Speaker. And he said, when he was asked about the costs, well, those are commercial in confidence matters on a very cheap contract for the French for the submarines, Mr Speaker. He went on. The member for Cook also did
the minister will pause. He needs to refine his remarks to the question. If he strays one more time, he'll be sat down. Thank you, Mr. You return to the question. The Minister has the call.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. The honourable member asked me about the capacity investment scheme, which I very much welcome his interest. I understand his interest, that it is being treated and will be treated in the same way as similar matters have been treated in budgets in time immemorial.